Top stories. A prison officer and an inmate at Hermantis prison tested positive for COVID-19. Police report quick action to contain the spread of the coronavirus at the police headquarters in Bastille. And as Team Unity celebrates their first anniversary of its second term in office, the opposition is giving them a failing grade. Welcome to the SK Newsline in Newscast. I'm your presenter, Andre Huey.
The coronavirus has made its way into the Federation's largest penitentiary as an inmate on Thursday reportedly tested positive for the virus, while others are said to be monitored. Reports surfaced this morning that a total of 9 inmates were said to be positive for the virus, but Superintendent of Prisons Terrence James confirmed that 1 inmate returned a positive result after complaining of feeling unwell. According to James, the inmate complained of having a headache and stomach pain on Wednesday evening. He was rushed to the hospital where his sample returned positive Thursday. That followed confirmation that 2 prison officers also had samples return positive. One other person who occupied the same cell as a COVID positive case complained of feeling unwell. The superintendent reminded that the prison in Bastille is not as large as some of the others in the region or internationally. James noted that the Bastille prison only has 1 cell block, and that in and of itself has posed many challenges. Currently, all inmates are confined to their cells as tests are likely to be conducted. A visit was made by the task force to the facility to do an inspection and other checks to ensure that some measures are being followed. But James disclosed that prison officials will continue with their temperature checks and other protocols to stem the virus from further spreading in the facility. The confirmed case is said to be in isolation at a government facility. Jermaine Abel reporting for SKN Newsline.
The police are reporting its quick action contained the spread of the coronavirus at the police headquarters in Bastille. SK Newsline's Glenn Bart reports.
The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force recorded its first case of COVID-19, indicated a press release from the force dated 11th June 2021. According to the release, the individual is a civilian staff member who has been placed in isolation and is said to be in stable condition. Other staff members were placed in quarantine and have returned negative results on their first COVID-19 test. Police Commissioner Hilroy Brandy is reported as saying that all necessary precautions are being taken to prevent the spread of the virus, and the situation will be monitored closely. The release reports that 72% of the police force has been vaccinated so far, and police officers and civilian staff are still being encouraged to be vaccinated. Notably, the police press release instructs that as a result of the situation, persons with non-emergency reports and inquiries must contact the Bastille Police Station or headquarters by telephone or email rather than appearing in person. The Bastille Police Station and Police Headquarters can be reached by dialing 465-2241, and for emergencies, persons should dial 911. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
As the Team Unity government celebrates the anniversary of its second term in office, the opposition is giving them a failing grade. We have more in this report. The Team Unity government lauds its achievements over the past year as it celebrates the first anniversary of its re-election earlier this week. But the opposition St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party has a totally different perspective of the government's performance over the past year since the June 5th landslide election win. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris recently, during his press conference, spoke of what he deems a good management of the COVID-19 pandemic despite the challenges.
Thankfully, in St. Kitts and Nevis, our citizens and residents displaced by COVID-19 have access to a range of some 20 social safety net supports, including food vouchers, school meal programs, poverty alleviation program, support services for foster children, medical assistance program, distinct and a part of the compulsory free access to health care at all of our community centers for young people and for the elderly, including access to dental services free of cost. For 2021, we have budgeted about 35 million for the social safety net relief and public assistance. Most popular being, of course, the Poverty Alleviation Program, which we introduced in 2018 to provide income support to those households which were in dire need. No other government before us has been as generous in its support to the working poor and as astute in its fiscal management.
But opposition leader Dr. Denzel Douglas believes the government has not managed the pandemic well and listed several areas he believes the government has failed over the past year.
First 12 months of this new term of this splintered government, it has been 12 months of failure. The people have not advanced, lives have not been advanced, opportunities have not been created. Instead, people have lost opportunities.
The Labour Party leader spoke of issues in the public health sector as one of the areas he believes the government has failed over the past year.
We have seen to a large extent that there is failure in particular in the health sector. There has been a further deterioration of the physical infrastructure at our own premier health institution, that is our Joseph and France General Hospital in Bastille on the island of St. Kitts. I'm not certain what is the present situation in Nevis, but definitely here in St. Kitts, there has been a further deterioration in the physical infrastructure. I believe that I can say with a certain amount of conviction that there has been a further neglecting of our doctors and our nurses and our frontline workers. And this, of course, has seriously affected the morale of those who are operating within the health sector. Our crying hope is that now that there is community spread, that our hope is that it just does not get worse to the point where a lack of basic equipment and support is not accentuated, and as a result, bringing lives into danger as a result of this pandemic.
Dr. Douglas suggests that the coalition is not united and that is affecting the government's ability to manage the pandemic well. Team Unity celebrated 1 year of being re-elected to government with a church service at the Wesley Methodist Church earlier this week. The coalition, comprising 3 political parties, the People's Action Movement, the People's Labour Party, and the Concerned Citizens Movement from Nevis, won a landslide victory in the general elections on June 5th, 2020, winning 9 of the 11 seats in the National Assembly. I'm Andre Huey reporting for SKN Newsline. Elliot's Funeral Parlor is the first licensed embalmer in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a friendly and professional staff. At Elliot's Funeral Parlor, we offer a wide range of packages from $6,500, homegoing service at chapel, locally made caskets, tailoring of outfit for deceased of your choice, wake, overnight with slideshow, funeral, death announcement, obituary, booklets, family pin-ons, memorial books, preparation of funeral arrangements, wreath, fresh and artificial. For further information, call 469-3298, 664-2007, or 660-0186. Elliot's Funeral Parlor in Gingerland, Nevis. Dedicated to those we serve.
I need some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Football is back, and the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association will be bringing you live football on its website, www.sknfa.com, with Premier League Live. Without fans in the stadium due to COVID-19 protocols, you can now watch every single Premier League match this season on www.sknfa.com and click on Live TV. Games are shown live on every match day with halftime and post-game shows. It's Premier League Live. Commentary, analysis, action. Never miss a game.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one. Agriculture students at the Clarence Fitzroy Brand College are getting opportunities to experience the intricacies of the sector. Glenn Bart tells us more.
Agriculture science students of the Clarence Fitzroy Brand College CFBC are benefiting from a work experience program set up by the Ministry of Agriculture. Ministry of Agriculture Assistant Secretary Kyle Flanders said a group of CFBC agriculture science students toured various facilities to get first-hand information on several career options available in agriculture.
We have been to the processing area, the agro-processing area, to show the students how you can have value-added products by using agro-processing. We have been to the soil lab so they can see how you can test the soil for its pH, its acidity. We have been to the Bearfords, where we currently are establishing a breeding center with large ruminants, small ruminants. So if they're interested in that area, they got a sample of that today. We're also at the Needsmas Farm to show the length and breadth of how the ministry has certain raw materials that are used in the agro-processing sector. So you have your sorrel over here, you have your palm syrup, those kind of fruits that can be used to make the jams and the jellies and the other agro-processed goods that you see on the shelves. So the students are getting a wide range of expertise, they're getting a wide range of knowledge, and hopefully one day the main aim, of course, is to get them to be a part of this sector when they're finished with college, finished with university. We want to expand the sector, bring youth and fresh blood into the sector so we can propel the sector forward.
Officials of the Ministry of Agriculture said much effort is in progress to boost the sector and to make it more attractive for young people. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Staying with agriculture, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris recently reported production increases in fish production in the first quarter of 2021 in comparison to the previous year. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris revealed that St. Kitts recorded a marginal increase in fish production by 87% in the first quarter of 2021 in comparison to the previous year. Speaking at his recent press conference, Dr. Harris said more than 270,000 pounds of fish landings were recorded.
Overall, fish landings over the period January to April 2021 totaled 275,000 pounds, with a value of just over $3 million. This represents an 87% increase from the prior years were just under 150,000 pounds for those 4 months of the year, and with a value of $1.2 million. For this year then, for the first 4 months, we are recording a near threefold increase in the dollar value of fish landed here.
Prime Minister Harris added that these figures represent a fisheries sector on the rise, due in part to the government's stimulus packages, which assisted fishers with the fishing gear, including fish pot wires, fish aggregate devices, and many other supplies. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
You know, it's me, Mr. HE, and I'm here with one message. Roll up to roll out. We all know how difficult things have been during this COVID-19 pandemic. While we continue to wash our hands, wear a face mask, and practice social distancing, how about we take it one step further and get vaccinated? Call the nearest health center to find out if you are eligible to be vaccinated. Or you can contact the Ministry of Health at any one of these numbers down below. Don't be discouraged by the negativity. We all have a role to play in protecting this federation. So, St. Kitts and Nevis, let's roll up to roll out.
Stay abreast with news on St. Martin with SMN News. Visit www.smn-news.com for up-to-date news, scoops, opinions, and hard-hitting facts. SMN News, we tell it like it is. Visit our website www.smn-news.com.
It's the new and improved SKN Newsline Android mobile app. With the SKN Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SKN Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SKN Newsline, and download the app today. The SKN Newsline mobile app. News on the go.
Junior, can I get popcorn, please?
Don't tell Shane, Dave. Welcome to plead.
I can get some starch. More, please. Boy, take your popcorn from Junie.
Welcome back for the big stories in regional news. We now have our Caribbean news segment. The government of Antigua and Barbuda is offering cash incentives for persons who take the COVID-19 vaccine. Shanakisha Francis of ABS TV reports.
Good evening. It is clear that the government is intensifying the efforts to encourage more people to get vaccinated. A week ago, the government announced that a lucky individual will receive a plot of land valued at over $68,000 for free. And now cash is up for grabs, as Information Minister Honorable Melford Nicholas announced on Thursday.
The government has actually sweetened the pot yesterday. It may not have been in the notes, but I would like to indicate that in addition to that, the Cabinet has agreed to 4 weekly draws of $5,000.
He clarifies this new incentive is open to everyone who has received their first and or second doses of the COVID-19 vaccine.
For all those persons who have taken the vaccines, whether it is first or second dose from since March, are eligible to participate in this weekly lottery. There will be 4 such lotteries. And this is a part of encouraging and enhancing the favorability of persons coming forward and taking the vaccines.
The minister explains how people will be eligible for these lotteries.
You would be aware that all along the Ministry of Health, with support from the Ministry of Information, would have been compiling the digitized information. And so this single database that the Ministry of Health has at its disposal will allow it to be able to ensure that everyone who has taken the vaccines are in fact covered in these lotteries going forward.
Minister Nicholas says that the draw is scheduled to begin hopefully Friday, 18 June 2021. Shanikisha Francis for ABS News.
The Royal St. Lucia Police Force is seeking various ways to cut crime committed by
noses and mouths. On Friday, June 4, 3 individuals wearing surgical masks to commit a brazen theft on at least 2 businesses in the capital. Deputy Police Commissioner Wayne Chalry says it's a concern that has been widely expressed by the Royal St. Lucia Police Force.
From the inception of COVID in 2020, this was certainly a vulnerability in the new dispensation of wearing masks that we looked at as a police force. That persons wearing masks now, which would have been illegal before, now it's now illegal not to have a mask. So yes, we did look at that reverse and understood that it would pose challenges and limitations, basically affording certain criminals greater opportunities with renewed ability to commit more crime. So yes, this is our agenda to look at and to come up with various ways by which we could counteract.
There have been reports of business places being the target for thieves since the pandemic. The most recently reported case on Tuesday, June 7, after masked bandits stormed a courier establishment on High Street, Castries. According to information obtained by NBC Prime, 3 other gun-wielding men in masks stormed the establishment and fled with over $15,000 in cash and laptops. The bandits also fled with wallets, mobile phones, and packages which belonged to customers who were at the time on the queue awaiting service. The incident occurred at 3 p.m. 3 days prior to that incident, Friday, June 4, 3 individuals wearing surgical masks held 2 staff members at a pet store also on High Street, Castries. One of the bandits was detained by CCC Constabulary personnel before the other 2 fled the scene with an undisclosed amount of cash. The incident occurred just before closing time.
We're very concerned. Any robbery, any stealing from person, any crime that is committed, we're always very concerned. The robbery, it's a grave concern, and we would want to intensify our investigations in that regard to bring these perpetrators in.
In light of the criminal activities that have transpired within the city, Commissioner Chalry says the responsibility is in the hands of the police to keep the city safe. The incidents have left business operators traumatized as a result.
The business owners, let me say, I'm very concerned. Accept, please, my sincerest apologies for the trauma that you would have gone through with this violent crime robbery. And I want to tell you that we will do all in our power to strengthen our various police tactics so that we can limit the opportunities present for those robberies to take place.
It is uncertain whether it's the same set of bandits who committed the 2 separate robberies. However, investigations are ongoing into the matter. Cecil Actil, NBC Prime.
Bolivia's healthcare system has been pushed to the brink as the country battles a 3rd wave of COVID-19 infections. Vaccines have been slow to arrive, and the death toll has exceeded 15,000 as hospitals run out of space and resources. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
Oxygen is a luxury in Bolivia these days, and that's why these people came to this factory in Cochabamba. Many have been waiting for days to fill their tanks to assist loved ones who are struggling with COVID-19. Sonia Jimenez is angry.
I have slept here because I am not sure whether there is really no oxygen or they are lying to us. In the hospitals, there is no oxygen, no beds. All of us are people who are losing their relatives and nobody is helping us.
Bolivia is now seeing a resurgence of cases and deaths from COVID-19. Intensive care unit beds are near capacity. Contagions have increased 50%, and an average of 70 people are dying every day.
My brother is dying. I have no words. I saw they're moving some tanks. Maybe we'll get some oxygen now. In the hospital, there's no oxygen. I have no words.
The third wave is exposing once again the vulnerability of Bolivia's healthcare system. Dr. Freddy Fernandez Rocabado says 5 regions in the country have reported a peak in cases, with most hospitals overwhelmed.
Our country's healthcare system had collapsed prior to the pandemic. Health centres, infrastructure was not ready to cope with this. There's no equipment, no supplies, no medicines, and human resources are insufficient. It is dramatic.
The inoculation campaign has also been a challenge. While many are afraid of the vaccines, others wait in line for hours to get their jab. As in many developing nations, vaccines have been slow to arrive. The health minister has announced China will be sending 1 million doses of Sinopharm vaccines and has authorized second doses to be applied as a first dose to increase the number of people protected.
Hacemos un pedido vehemente. We are strongly asking all health departments to vaccinate the population. If we run out of vaccines, we will know we are doing our job. We need to create a barrier, and for the vaccines, they shouldn't be in a deposit. That's why we are authorizing the second doses to be applied as a first dose, so we can keep the process going as we get more vaccines.
As the developed world tries to move past COVID-19, in Latin America, the virus continues to kill thousands of people every day. There were almost 1.2 million new cases last week, and experts say the figures are not going down anytime soon. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera.
Houston's Methodist Hospital in Texas mandated employees to get the COVID-19 vaccine in order to work and suspended over 170 workers who opted not to receive vaccination for up to 2 weeks without pay. More from NBC News.
Frontline healthcare workers fighting back in Texas, nearly 200 of them suspended from Houston Methodist Hospital for refusing to get the COVID vaccine. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky has their story from Houston.
Allison, the situation playing out here at Houston Methodist is one that we could see play out all across the country. You have a massive hospital group, in this case, 25,000 employees, the overwhelming majority of which have chosen to follow the company policy, which is legal, in stating that they have to be vaccinated before coming back to work. Yet within that number, you have about 178 employees, nurses, other hospital staff, choosing to not get vaccinated, and as a result, now be on unpaid leave for 2 weeks and possibly be terminated. Now, as it stands right now, 117 of those employees have filed a mass action lawsuit against Houston Methodist, saying that they're feeling essentially bullied into having to get the vaccination. And one of their primary reasons in not getting it is that the FDA approved this, but only with emergency authorization. One of the nurses I spoke to tells me that she wishes they could at least wait until there was official clearance by the FDA before they could get that shot. Hear what she had to say. You're willing to lose your job over this.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Because I am not going to take that vaccine. Originally, we just wanted more time. We wanted the proper research, and we wanted it to be fully FDA approved. But now the things I'm seeing with my own eyes is very disturbing. A lot of patients and employees are coming down with severe adverse reactions that aren't being talked about or documented the proper way. So it's very scary when you see this with your own eyes and nobody's being held accountable for. So these people are just kind of stuck with the situation.
And to be clear, Houston Methodist not the only hospital group with similar policies going forward. We've also heard from Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, Maryland, and other hospitals in the Washington, D.C. area who are implementing the same kind of vaccine mandate going forward. Remains to be seen if there will be any staff pushback there. As for the employees here, those who choose not to get the vaccine after the end of that 2 weeks of unpaid leave will be terminated. Allison?
In sports, led by Chris Middleton's 35 points and playoff career-high 15 rebounds, the number 3 seed Bucks defeated the number 2 seed Nets 86-83 in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Meanwhile, the Utah Jazz defeated the number 4 seed Clippers 117-111 in Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals. Rudy Gobert added 13 points, 3 blocks, and a playoff career-high 20 rebounds for the Jazz in the victory, while Paul George tallied 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists for the Clippers. Here are the highlights, courtesy of Turner Sports and NBA.com.
Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. It's the first game of the series in Milwaukee, with the home team down 0-2 in the series. But they also have the two-time reigning MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, sending a reminder, not once, but twice, 2 vicious dunks in the first quarter. Giannis with a mean mug to go along with it. He also finds two-time All-Star Chris Middleton, who nails the 3. Middleton, 15 points in the first quarter. Giannis, 15 points in the first quarter. They scored all of the Bucks 30 points. Middleton finished the game with 35 and 15. We move to the second quarter, and the Nets find an unlikely star and Bruce Brown, finishing with the floater. Brown had 16 points and 11 rebounds. James Harden still a spectator in this series, and he's loving it. So the comeback is on for Brooklyn. Kyrie Irving with the pull-up jumper, and we have a 3-point game at halftime. Kevin Durant struggled to find his rhythm in the first half. He gets it going early in the third quarter. Hits the 3, then Durant gets to the free throw line, is held up by P.J. Tucker, and the 2 go at it. When we get back to the basketball action, it's Kevin Durant in the fourth quarter, coming up big for Brooklyn. Makes the pull-up jumper, then Durant for 3. KD finished with 30, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Brooklyn ahead 83-80 off the go-ahead bucket by KD. Drew Holiday puts Milwaukee back on top 84-83. "11 seconds left. Nets almost turn it over. Then it's Bruce Brown that goes in. He can't get it to fall. After 2 Chris Middleton free throws, the Bucks lead by 3. Kevin Durant gets a contested look over 3 defenders and almost makes it. Milwaukee holds Brooklyn to their lowest scoring output on the season. Bucks get the win 86-83 in a low-scoring affair. Los Angeles Clippers, Utah Jazz. Congratulations to Rudy Gobert, named Defensive Player of the Year for the 3rd time in 4 years. But it's Donovan Mitchell providing the offensive spark for Utah. He had 45 points in Game 1 and had a huge first half in Game 2. Mitchell getting to the bucket, cutting through the defense, using a pick. Then he uses the hezzy twice to get to the rack and finish with the left hand. Mitchell hit 5 3-pointers in the first half. As time expired at the end of the first half, Mitchell connects again for 3. He had 27 points by halftime. Utah up by 13 at the break. Second half, Clippers triple teaming Donovan Mitchell leaves Rudy Gobert wide open underneath the basket. Mitchell with a nice pass to find Gobert, who had 13 points and 20 rebounds. Mitchell gets some space and connects again. Utah extending their lead to 19. That's when the Clippers go to Kawhi, who was cutting up. Hits the jumper on the baseline. Then Reggie Jackson about that action. The hoop and the harm. Marcus Morris also getting all the way to the cup. Caps a 23-6 Clippers run. We got a 4-point game. Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year. Defense all over him. Doesn't matter. Clarkson beats the shot clock, then gets it done again from the top of the key. Clarkson, 24 points in the game off the bench. Clippers owner Steve Ballmer can't believe it. But he can believe this. Kawhi Leonard with the defense and the finish all by himself on the other end. 21 points for Kawhi. More defense. Reggie Jackson, open, hesitates, then knocks it down. 29 points for Jackson. Clippers' first lead of the game. Bojan Bogdanovic makes his appearance in his highlight for 3. Bo buckets cooking up. Then Gobert inside. The strong finish and the free throw is good. Joe Ingles pulling up for 3. He had 19. Utah back in command. Donovan Mitchell with your proverbial dagger. Mitchell, 37 points. He made those 6 threes. Utah wins it. Your final score, 117-111.
And that will do it for this edition of the SK Newsline Newscast. For more stories, log on to our website, www.sknewsline.com. From all of us here at SK Newsline and Channel 95, I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching.